faith beyond. He was a bit quiet yesterday, looked a whole lot better today. But I can't imagine that they're going to be changing things up too much. But we are seeing some of these bans on stuff that Liquid has started to bring out, things that's become more popular as we've gone on, like this Naga, like this Sniper. The Lesh is still in the pool, and I think that was certainly a possibility for each of these teams. Also, maybe a little bit tricky to pick something like the Knicks at this point, though. Like you said, LGD, they've got tiny flex, so they could still do it. The Knicks wouldn't look terrible here.
Yeah, I think Nyx is always a good option, honestly. That hero has been one of my favorites coming into this. I mean, even coming into the last chance qualifiers, I've loved it. Every single time we've seen it, it's done a lot of work.
Yeah, the like laning weakness doesn't seem to have mattered at all, and just how ridiculous the scouting, the spiked carapace, and the very low cooldown stun has been great. We haven't. I don't think we've even seen an Ags, but his Ags is nuts as well. But maybe we won't talk about him too much unless he gets picked up here.
Yeah, let's focus on what we're actually seeing. But what we're seeing is some very interesting and very targeted bans from the side of PSG.LGD. This suggests to me that they've been beaten by these heroes in scrims, perhaps, or been watching the Liquid games. But either way, there's a lot of respect coming out for LGD here. Yeah,
there's a decent amount of tape on Liquid currently, so nothing that has been banned is like outside of Liquid's wheelhouse. The read from LGD does seem to be that the Primal Beast and the Undying are potentially the two supports. As we see the Visage ban coming out, or at least respecting the possibility of that being the case. Like I said, it is 2 games for Boxy so far and 1 game for Zai, so we are probably looking at it just being the Boxy hero, just depending on how the rest of the draft goes for LGD.
I have to say, though, I've got to change allegiances here. I'm going for LGD in this first game, at least, because I've noticed that Arme and Jinky on our lovely player cams both have some lovely coconuts, which they're drinking from. And that buff, I mean, it can't be beaten. It really can't. I don't see any coconuts on the Liquid cams, so...
Well, they're going to have some mangoes, at least. They've got an Undying, so...
True. Well done. They always have those mangoes on the Undying, but coconut to start the game with. Very, very
Morph's
strong.
still in the pool. More Flesh. Drow gets banned. One of those probably coming out.
Bat Rider.
There's your Lesh.
Hanging around.
Yeah, maybe.
We have to ban it. It's tradition at this point. It's been banned 51 times out of 61 games.
So many bans and like 2 wins, right? That's the story of Bat Rider here.
Yeah,
he's going up in the world. Okay, yeah. So if you're LGD, what do you think is the answer to the Lesh? I feel like we've seen the ranged carries be popular, but all of SF, Sniper, and Drow are all gone. So that's not such an easy option. We saw somebody trying AA earlier.
I like Nyx plus damage, honestly. Just get yourself the Nyx Assassin, and then you've already got a Tiny for some burst. Just follow it up with, I don't know, as you say, like the Drow is banned out, but just something which can hit really, really hard. Maybe a TA or something, but I don't really like TA. But I don't know. I'm not the drafter here. You figure it out, LGD. There you go. Okay. Damage. Perfect.
All right. Okay. But that is looking like probably just mid Lena, if I had to guess, and then probably the GQ
so
Tiny. I think the Tiny mid could have gotten exploited a little bit this game. Like Liquid already have 2 fairly beefy supports, and the Lesh is going to build tanky, and the lane doesn't sound fun. Tiny versus Leshrac, so I think I like this setup a little bit more. The Lena was pretty popular and was pretty trendy in the last chance qualifiers. Haven't seen as much of it here in the main event in the group stage, but certainly looking good on paper. And shred the Tombstone, tons of damage on the Lesh. In that same vein that we were talking about with some of these bans that have come out, have the long range against the Leshrac, and LGD with a Disruptor. So not the strongest in the lane, but we've seen it be very powerful and maybe even a deterrent here if Liquid were thinking about the Morphling or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. That's a huge point. If you can catch out that Morphling with the Disruptor, and also with the time in which games are going on to, this Disruptor here has just been looking better and better as he's able to pick up an Ags in a lot of these games. He gets it a surprising amount of time.
Yeah, and Liquid have been no strangers to playing some long games over their run between the LCQ and the groups. So if LGD think that's where they might be headed in this one, they've now got the Enigma and they've got the Disruptor to take them there. So they're not going to have to. They won't have to be afraid if this one starts to drag on a little bit. So what is the Matu hero here? They do, of course, have, like, we've seen them flex the Lone Druid to mid as well, and Matu plays it, and then, you know, Mikke is in the side lanes, but just going to try and play fast. Pick up the Beastmaster, see if they can run him over.
Yeah, and still a bit of flex perhaps on the Lash track. I don't know, does Matu really play Lash?
I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen it from him in the games that they've had, but...
Yeah, definitely much more comfortable on Mikke.
Yeah, I think if they were going to like flex the Lesh, I think it would just be that the Lesh should be heading into the side lane, but with Mikke still playing it, and then Matu would be playing, I think, just like the Lone Druid mid. I don't know if there's any other Matu heroes that they want to stick him mid on. Maybe I could see like a Matu Morphling heading mid, but neither of those options sound great here against LGD have.
I'd consider a TA, but again, you know, it's versus the Lina. It's always going to be a difficult lane. So, but I don't really see a way they can kind of win the lane versus Lina. I think you just got to try and trade it with the Lesh. So, they will probably do that. But I do want to say, like, this is a draft which LGD are very practiced with. The 4 Tiny, the mid Lina. These are 2 things they've been playing throughout the entire year, over and over again. Both these heroes very, very popular in the China region, and most of the regions, to be fair. But Lina especially popular in China, so no surprise at all to see it picked up here. And LGD are going to be very comfortable with this.
Yeah, they're sticking to their guns. We're just going to have to see if the execution is there. I don't even think that like LGD have gone too far outside of their comfort zone this group stage. Like I said, it's been a lot of just Jin-Q on his classic comfort, Faith Beyond playing his ranged offlaners. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. They teetered a little bit faster today against OG, but it doesn't seem like that's a permanent adjustment. And the Lone Druid ban does actually draw the Morphling ban out of LGD. They don't feel like there's anything else that they're more worried about from Liquid. Okay.
Interesting. So even though they've got the Disruptor and the Lina, they still ban out the Morphling. That is some respect right there.
Yeah. These are 2 things that we've seen a lot of teams trying as the Morphling counters, and to varying degrees of success. I think for the most part, it's a pretty good Disruptor, especially in the last chance qualifier. Just ended some games for Morphling. Didn't matter how much net worth they had. As Ursa is the ban. Okay. Still looking for carries on both sides. What else have LGD played? They have they had a Nature's Prophet earlier today. I don't know if that's exactly the look. Okay, just gonna take the Lifestealer themselves. I was wondering if that might have been something that Liquid were looking at, but okay. We've seen this previously against the Lesh, right? Just as a way to kind of get in, you get the rage for free. You don't have to worry so much. You can help out your teammates with the open wounds. Looks all right. It's not a totally free Lifestealer game because there is, you know, BKB piercing disable on the Beastmaster. You can't just go and run down whatever lane you want. Oh, dang it. I didn't get it out. Liquid with the bristleback.
All right.
Gosh.
Well, why were you thinking this hero then?
This back when Bristle was good, this was like kind of the answer to the Enigma, and it plays fast. Right? It's the Quill Spray against the Eidolons. You're pretty beefy. If you're able to just turn your back on the Lina, you're not too worried about it, and it's really just Liquid. As soon as they picked the Beastmaster 4th, I think they were committing to just try and play this one out a little bit more quickly. Though I don't think they fall off that hard either, right? Like we've seen Beastmaster with a good start can still scale. So this should be a fun one. I think these drafts are actually really close.
It's very headbutty, isn't it? You know, these guys both just bringing their own ideas to it. Both just going to be charging at each other here, but I think Liquid certainly charging a little bit harder. I mean, They have a Primal Beast. They sort of have to. It's in the name. But yeah, I'm really liking what Liquid are doing here. As I said on the panel, Liquid, if they do get those games where they have a significant advantage coming out of the laning phase, they are able to crush teams. And it doesn't really feel like there's anything you can do against it. So really kind of putting the gas on and making LGD suffer. They're going to have to kind of weather the storm a bit and come out the other side. But if they do make it to kind of like any sort of mid to late game, it's going to get very even very quickly. And with the Faith Beyond Enigma, there's every possibility they can get a big team fight and turn it around.
Yeah, the execution has looked really crisp from Liquid, and I worry a little bit for LGD if they come out of the lanes on the back foot, because the Tiny can be a bit slow to get going. You know, it's Jinkyu Tiny. I'm not going to doubt him, but the Tiny can be a little bit slow to get going if you don't have the levels coming out of the lane. The Enigma's not going to rotate a huge amount, and we all know the story of Disruptor when he's kind of behind out of the early game. So going to be really important that the lanes go well and that they enable Nothing to Say to start making some big plays around the map.
Alrighty, let's get into it. Game number 1 in this best of 2 group stage series. It is Liquid versus PSG.LGD. Liquid vying for that upper bracket. PSG.LGD just trying to stabilize after a messy first day. I think when it comes down to this game, we gotta keep an eye on the mid lane because A, I think there's every possibility someone could just kill the other. It's been happening a lot today. And B, the supports are gonna have to be moving in here and securing these power runes and contesting the runes as well.
Yeah, Lesh has looked good in a lot of matchups. He's completely dominated. Like, we've seen Lesh dominate Pango, all these melee heroes he's done fantastically against. But Lina, in a lot of ways, is kind of the final boss, the apex predator of some of these mid lane matchups. You've got so many nukes, you've got so much range. It's just, it's very, very difficult to play against. It'll be interesting to see how Mickey does here. Maybe just having to focus on more of a Lightning Storm build, and it'll turn into a spam fest. But it should still be Lina having the harassment edge.
Yeah. I mean, can always get caught out against Lesh right now. That's what we've seen.
Yes.
If you take a step too far forwards, that's when Earth comes through. It can all go horribly wrong. We're going to start with a bit of fighting here going in. Wow, Boxy just charging straight on through here. Innocence might be getting caught out. The damage is coming through thick and fast from Liquid. They're going to need a couple more clicks, but I think they're going to find it. LGD might be giving away first blood here on Innocence. Wow, they've already backed away on Mickey, actually. He's just leaving him for dead. Boxy, can he finish the job? One more right click, just about finds it. And that'll be first blood going to the Primal Beast.
The drift on that onslaught was sick. We talked in the last chance qualifiers a little bit about like, oh, how many heroes does Boxy have? Feels like he's only played like 3, maybe 4. And suddenly he's got this Primal Beast that they're busting out. And it's been looking good.
Yep, definitely. Adapting well, constantly looking to stretch out their hero pool. And that's what you have to do at TI, right? Like, the more heroes you can play, the better, because you won't make a deep run with a shallow hero pool.
Yeah, and I like this a lot from Liquid, actually putting the Primal Beast with the Bristleback, just because I think it's much easier for the Primal Beast to be able to leave this lane, whereas if he was laning with the Beastmaster, I think he's kind of forced to just sit there. So better to just let the Undying handle that job, and this way maybe they can even get some pressure on mid.
Boxy has his charge cut short by ZQ, just tossed him into the air there. But Marty really kind of putting the harassment onto Faith Beyond here. But why is the Bristle so good against the Enigma?
Well, previously it was because the only thing that could kill Eidolons was physical damage, and Bristleback was like one of the only heroes in the game that had AoE physical damage in the laning stage. That's changed a little bit, but it's still, that's kind of the dynamic here, that you can just run at him.
I see. Yeah, he's definitely doing that. Right under the tower, like the Primal Beast and Bristleback lane. Middle lane, rotation in. Mickey gets a kill onto Nothing to Say with the help of Boxy. They pushed so deep in that top lane that it was actually impossible to really see Boxy moving across. Beautiful movements there from Liquid.
Well, it's not going to be a clean 1v1 here. It looks like Boxy's planting his flag on the mid lane that he's going to come and make some plays. First couple of waves were really good for Nothing to Say, but if we keep getting these Primal Beast ganks, I don't know how much we're going to be able to read into the actual matchup here.
And who cares? Because I'm bored of these matchups. You know, we had an entire patch of like, oh, hold up, top lane, they're moving. Bristle's way too tanky. They jump all their spells on him and he's down to like half HP and they're like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, they do need to punish him if Boxy's going to be constantly out of this lane. That's the tricky thing about the Primal Beast is it only, especially with First Blood and Boots, it's only going to take him a few seconds to run over towards mid and already be charging up the onslaught. So, yeah, nothing to say. Really going to have to be on his toes. Would even be nice to have a ward up here.
Luckily, he is very loud when he's moving across, so you always get a little bit of warning when he's about to run at you, but by that time, it's often a bit too late.
And I wonder if LGD just weren't anticipating that this could be the laning configuration. Oh, nicely done by Xingqiu. That was great.
Again.
I guess if you're on the line and there's nothing else around, you can just spam it, right? There's like, you can just sit there mashing toss, and the instant that he comes close enough, you'll just stop him.
Yeah, I guess you're right. That's probably how it's going. In the bottom lane, Insane, you're in a bit of trouble, being eaten up by Arme. And there's going to be a kill going to the Lifestealer. So, big catch down in the bottom lane. Going to give Arme the start he needs.
Promoby's trying to hide behind the trees at mid is absolutely comical. He's got arms sticking out. But, yeah, okay. Yeah, I really think that LGD were not expecting that Boxy would be playing from the top side, because they've got this ward on their own high ground in the jungle. And I think that's where they were expecting to see the rotations come from. But instead, he's coming from the top side, and now they're going to have to just give another ward for mid. Oh, Innocence stepping up.
Here is in at mid, but yeah, I think Innocence might be in trouble, though. The Glimpse Back's going to buy him a little bit of time as Boxy moving out of trouble over to the Water Rune. Insania still chasing down Innocence, but no, he's going to give up the goat.
Innocence can still just head back to the fountain, give Nothing to Say a reset. We said that mid lane was going to be important, and we have certainly seen that from the supports so far. Everybody's attention is on this lane.
Did he have vision for that? I feel like
Xingqiu getting gone.
Yeah, he is still going to die here. I almost feel like he preemptively casted that avalanche up on the high ground there. I'm not sure, to stop himself getting stunned, but
he had an obs until it got dewarded, which was not too long ago. So I think they had an idea. Yeah,
they were setting up for that. I see. Well, does go down all the same, but was able to grab his team the bounty rune, so not a completely meaningless death, but still probably not a great trade either.
He denied the bounty, he comes back in, he refills the bottle. I don't think he's too unhappy about how that's gone.
So overall, Lifestealer Arme doing very, very well. Down in the bottom lane. 29 last hits and 11 denies. Lina sitting on a similar score in the middle lane. Not a bad start for LGD, except for Faith Beyond, who we will not pay attention to.
I mean, he's got 15 denies. What can you ask for?
True. Not like he gets them for free or anything. Tombstone being eaten up. Arme is going to be able to grab that one. Zai tries for the deny, but doesn't quite land it. Nice little jukes out there from Arme to make sure he gets the gold for that. And yeah, they're just shoving them back. Meanwhile, in mid, nothing to say, getting stunned up. As well as Xingqiu, as Boxy makes yet another rotation in, just trying to shove the pressure into PSG.LGD. A support in the middle lane at all times at the moment, and now once again fighting for these power runes. As they comes down to Boxy to hold him back. Have a toss from Xingqiu as well, but the rune, it does spawn bottom, and Insania is waiting for it. It's going to be a haste rune. Can they save it for Mickey? Nothing to say really, just wants to go and force the someone else to take it, but the stun's actually there. Mickey gets it from the low ground. Insania going to pick up the haste rune and try and come over to help with this one. Lightning is out. It's not enough damage to bring down Nothing to Say, but there he comes. The Haste Undying with the Soul Rip. Claps him.
He's still got haste. I think Innocence is also dead here.
This is so much value, and now the trample comes out from Boxy as well. Absolutely right. Insania going absolutely crazy with this haste rune at mid.
Man, early game's going well for them. They got a little bit of a net worth lead, and they've been stacking the Ancients the whole time as well. I think this has just been, yeah, we can see this time around Zai sending the boar back. He's just been getting these stacks consistently. And that's going to be a huge spike of gold for Matu once he comes over to claim it.
Damn, some pretty sick micro coming out from Zai there. Just, you know, kind of realizing that his lane ain't going so great, so might as well give someone else on his team a good game.
Yeah, I don't think he's planning on taking it himself because he hasn't gone for any points in the Wild Axis just yet. So maybe he'll go and swipe a couple last hits or grab some of the experience when they go to clear it, but not really something that LGD can look to contest. So you got to wrap around from Xingqiu.
Yeah, those Ancients belong to Matu, but they are moving forward here onto Zai, and well, Insania's coming over, Soul Rip, Decay, what can he really do though? Not contributing the Tombstone to this one, there is a glimpse available, and the damage from that will finish off Zai.
I'm sorry, Ame, I need boots. The glimpse kill is mine.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Still catches me off guard sometimes. A glimpse does damage, but we've seen it enough times recently. Boxy getting onto Xingqiu here. Xingqiu getting absolutely smashed, and Mickey will come across with a nice little lightning bolt to finish the kill.
They're just everywhere on the map. Mickey and Boxy making the plays together. It's looking good, and Matu able to just solo this lane completely up at top. Shades of what we saw some teams trying over the course of the last chance qualifier, which was, I think it was even Liquid, like forcing the Tidehunter 1v1 against the Enigma, and then just not really caring. And it feels like the Bristleback is kind of the same story here.
Yeah, you pick this obnoxious laner. Well, we're just going to be happy with the 1v1 matchup here. That's exactly what's happened. And he's got an Ancient stack waiting for him on Matu as well, so should be able to catch up with Ame when he goes and takes those.
Yeah, he's hardly behind as it is. And it's going to be nothing to say. He has to start getting some stuff done. They get the toss back on the Boxy.
Yeah, let's say to follow. Laguna Blade committed as well. Avalanche is there, and Boxy onslaught away. No way, no way. All right, the Glimpse gets it. Wow, Glimpse, what a spell. Might as well call it Dagon. Yep,
Disruptor. He's got 2 kills. Innocence is getting going. It's got to start getting those Aghanims funds built up.
Zai's trying to do a bit of jungling here. It's a little bit hairy though. They tried to commit the Tombstone to help him out, but without these axes, it's proven pretty difficult to take this hard camp.
Yeah.
He'll get there.
He's floating a skill point. I wonder if he's thinking, like, if I take the axes, then I can farm this, and that'll get me. Maybe that gets me the roar. So I'll be trying to curate this camp a little bit as well for when his Helm of the Dominator is ready to go. There's more rotations from Boxy and Mickey. They are just everywhere this game.
Wow, look at this. Faith Beyond getting jumped here. He does have the stick for the black hole if he really wants to throw it down. Catches 3 inside of it. His time is limited. Healed up by Ame, though. That'll keep him alive as they bring down Mickey. Move across to Batum Man. Faith Beyond does pull Matu, trying to TP away from this one. Glimp's going to cancel that out. He's dead. 2 heroes gone on the side of Liquid. Might be 3 as Boxy chasing to the tree line here. He's got the onslaught in just 1 second, but where are you going to go? Deeper onto the enemy side of the map. No TP available for 30 seconds. Boxy's days are numbered. Projectile leader comes through to finish the job. Beautifully done from PSG.LGD.
Oh, that infest was sick. That was so cool from LGD. And a crucial turnaround for them. You know, early game was getting away from them a little bit. Really important that they get a couple of kills on nothing to say. I think the Lina not having quite the early game that they were maybe expecting. So getting into those BOT is going to be really important.
Here we see it again. So he's got a wand to get the mana, and then they're like, well, it doesn't matter. He's going to die anyway to the Leshrac. But nope, Ame comes over, heals his teammate up.
I think the coolest thing for me from LGD is that they let the Lifestealer TP first. They knew that he was actually the save. Like, Innocence TP'd on the tier 2.
Very nice indeed. Well, Liquid put it back in their place a little bit here as LGD proving this ain't going to be one of their early game washes, that's for sure. LGD are putting up a fight, and a damn good one at that.
I don't know if the smoke got spotted by the Hawk. There's nothing to say, and Xingqiu are heading down towards bottom. Boxy just trying to tank it.
Ame, look at this again. Another very aggressive TP onto Matu. Matu is just going to start to stack it up as Boxy falls, but the Roar is there onto the Lifestealer, but in comes Innocence from behind with a Static Storm, so Matu unable to keep stacking up these Quill Sprays, and Ame just looking for the reset by jumping into Faith Beyond, but they're still chasing on Liquid. They are not done. Mickey coming across as well. They know they've got to go for Faith Beyond. He carries a very precious cargo, and out pops that cargo onto Mickey. They'll heal him up with the Soul Rip, but has he got enough health to live through this? Mickey will fall. Ame looking low, but running away. The Lifestealer's got to get away on the sidelines. Matu still trying to chase, does get him range for the Viscous Nasal Goo. Up to the high ground. We shall go, but the Glimpse is there to drag him back, and that will be that. The Lifestealer escapes. Meanwhile, Xingqiu on the back lines, not looking quite so lucky here. Matu will take his consolation prize, but it's not who he wanted.
What a slugfest. 8-9. Net worth leads going back and forth. Liquid will probably take it back once they clear out the Ancients. But neither team giving up an inch of the map without a fight. This is some really cool Dodo to watch.
Yeah, it's insane. The tempo these guys are playing at. It's 12 minutes into the game, and the amount of rotations, the amount of movements that every single hero has made has been absolutely ridiculous.
Out of all of this, Faith Beyond kind of struggling. He doesn't even have boots yet. He's just trying to straight rush the Wraith Pact as fast as humanly possible. I think we've probably seen it faster than this, just based on the fact his net worth is not looking incredible. And he's sitting right on top of a Hawk currently. So.
Yeah, and Liquid, they're going to come over. They got the level 6 on Boxy, so this should be a fairly straightforward kill here. Nothing to say. Ooh, I'm not sure that's a neighborhood. TP's in and just immediately leaves. Like, don't mind me, guys.
I'm just here to farm. You do whatever you want. I'll see that creep wave in a second.
Faith who?
Oh, Static Storm getting dropped onto Insania. It was just dewarding. He's dead.
Yeah, Zinky's there to follow up as well. Just give them the damage they need. Dying a support's death. Well, I mean, where does the dust settle here? I kind of feel like it doesn't, because everyone's just kind of even at the moment. There's no clear advantage. Whose turn is it to make a move?
My concern for LGD is still kind of the Enigma and the Tiny. Enigma especially, net worth is looking tricky. Jinkyu, they're giving him the lane dedicated down at bottom just to grab his blink. He's actually 1,600 gold towards it, so if he can get that before anything else crazy happens, that's going to be a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that seems unlikely with how the pace of this game has been going, but to be fair, Liquid seemingly splitting up a little bit and doing a bit of efficiency play at the moment, so...
Yeah, they're taking a second. I think they're waiting for the Ags on the Bristle, the Bloodstone on the Lesh. Both of those are coming up pretty quickly. So I think Jinky's going to have the time. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Bristleback does. This was the carry for a little while, and then he got a whole bunch of nerfs, and just not quite as strong necessarily as he used to be. Some of that was base nerfs, some of that was talents. And it's one of those heroes where either he survives on 10% HP and he kills absolutely everybody and he looks ridiculous, or he just dies at the beginning of the fight because he's not facing the right way and he gets Laguna Blade and he doesn't have enough items, and he looks like kind of a joke. So just have to see which version you get.
They managed to catch out Zai down here. Nice catch again from Innocence and Nothing to Say as they close the gap onto this Beastmaster. LGD getting a bit of a punish coming in. Liquid looking for some counter-aggression. Arme is a very tricky target to bring down, though, and Insania is actually being just ran at by this pesky lifestealer. Matu coming around the back, but the rage is there for Arme to just get himself back, so knew he's not in any real trouble. And this is such confidence from Arme as well, just completely by himself, chasing a support under a tier 1 tower. He knows that whoever TP's in it won't be enough to bring him down.
Again. Boxy's got his number. He gets brought down. I like that a lot from Ame. As soon as the Beastmaster's dead, who can stop you from rage TPing, right? So the instant that happens, you're just free to go and do absolutely whatever you want on the map. Absorb all of the space.
Yeah, going to be a very interesting game. So Bristle is now 900 gold off his Aghanim Scepter. And again, it seems like Liquid being a bit patient and waiting for that, even letting their middle tower fall. My one concern is that after this BKB, the traditional build from Lina is going for the Silver Edge, and I imagine that's going to be the same this game, because you can break that Bristle and maybe find an opportunity to kill him off.
Yeah, nothing to say not really committing one way or the other to the physical damage or the magical damage build. Like you're saying, I think we're probably leaning physical damage here. The idea of this Lina versus the Lesh, or these long-range damage dealers against the Leshrac that we've seen, is just plink him down and don't let him get in on top of you. The Silver Edge certainly going to be very nice if they can get there. And Blink Dagger up for Jinkyu. He does get rid of that sentry, so they Liquid know that he's got this one picked up.
They do, but PSG.LGD, they are feeling confident. They know their timings, and they are inside Roshan right now. Liquid, what is your response? I mean, they're still waiting for this Aghanims on the Bristleback. They have the Bloodstone on Mickey, but it seems like they're just not turning up to this area. Whether they know it's happening or not, I don't know. Well, they do, actually. They've got a Hawk, of course they do.
Yeah, they see this, but taking this away from the Beastmaster lineup, pretty big. Liquid rushing over to maybe even take the fight after the Roshan. It's not dead yet. Ame taking too much damage.
A pretty big miscalculation here from PSG.LGD could lead to a very messy fight indeed.
Oh, this is so awkward.
Yep. Liquid moving in. They see, oh, well, that's a very low health Roshan. Why isn't our smoke popped? Curious. LGD looking for the wraparound onto the enemy high ground, but thinking twice about it. Link you. Oh no, he sees the zombie. That means his blink is going to get popped here. And he knows what's happening inside this pit. Faith Beyond. They can't get across. They can't do anything. Xingqiu jumps in. Can he get the steal? Yes, he can. Xingqiu gets the Aegis out of the hands of Matumba Man. He will be falling for this, but what will be the price? Army gets roared on the sidelines here, but they don't feel like they have the damage to focus him. They will look instead towards the tiny, huge steal from Xingqiu. Will be dying for his efforts, but that's going to take the wind out of Liquid's sails. Does take the shine off it slightly that it was initially LGD's attempt to go for Roshan. It's very complicated in this game, basically.
Yeah, I think that's still overall what LGD wanted, right? Like you say, kind of slows the roll from Liquid. The plan a lot of the time with these Beastmaster lineups is roll down the tier 1 towers, head into the Roshan, gear that up on your position 1, and just keep on trucking. So for LGD, it just has to continue to be this bend but don't break playstyle. And they're making it work thus far, but as we've seen, Liquid are hitting some pretty massive timings.
Yeah, they are. They now have that Aghanim's finished on the Bristle, so they want to barrel down lanes, of course, without the Aegis. That will be a little bit tricky, but kind regards Xingqiu on that one.
Yeah, that was a really nice play. Even got the last hit. Faith Beyond is still super struggling on the net worth department. Just doesn't seem to have any room to farm. They've seen Boxy and Mickey just hunting him absolutely non-stop. And Liquid seem unperturbed. Just gonna come group up for this bottom tier 2.
Yeah, fortification comes out, but they got another wave of creeps coming through, not showing any signs of stopping, but at the same time, PSG.LGD are mounting a bit of pressure up at the top. Not to the same extent, and the bottom tower has already gone to Liquid, so let's see if they mount a defense at top. What do you think?
They do have all of their TPs, but I think you might just have to let this one go. It's a little scary trying to get in there 1 by 1, and very difficult to take that fight against the Disruptor. We've seen too many games, even at a TI level, right, where it's like, oh, we're playing against Disruptor. Oh, my carry just got glimpsed. Guess we lost the fight. Like,
well, what can you do?
Yeah, and neither of their big cores, the Lesh nor the Bristle, have anything to be able to deal with the glimpse currently. So yeah, they can't do anything there. It just has to be another trade, and we continue to kind of coast along.
Yeah, game kind of, I don't know, it's definitely not falling into a stalemate because both teams are taking things of each other, but yeah, no team getting a big advantage over the other. Objectives just being traded out. Incredibly tense. Who's going to make that first big team fight move? I feel like it should be Liquid, but finding the opening seems hard.
Yeah, I don't actually think that either team is looking for a head-on engagement for a little bit. To me, this next couple of minutes is... so there's a blink on the Tiny, and... Oh, actually, Lina opting to not... wait, does he have the Shadow Blade yet? He's just got a Crystallis picked up, and now he's got a Linken's queued. So... Okay, I thought that was going to be the other, pick-off piece for them, but... Different plan.
Open wounds out onto the Bristle back.
Yeah, the plan for Liquid is still very much try and get a pick off on one of these side lanes. His Eye's queuing up a Blink Dagger, so that's sort of how they get everything rolling, is find somebody, get a roar. They've got BOTs on the Leshrac as well, so he can come TPing into the creeps anywhere. It's going to be a lot of playing the laning game for the next couple minutes.
And here we go. Smoke up from Liquid. They're moving into this area where nothing to say is currently residing, but also fleeing very, very quickly.
Yeah, they've got a ward that sees that the Enigma's top, so they
saw it.
Yeah, they know that one of the other cores has to be down here somewhere. And
I think they saw this smoke though. Have you seen this ward they've got in the triangle?
Oh, right.
For LGD?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they do seem to have backed away from it pretty smoothly.
Either in a fantastic read or they did see the smoke. I didn't quite catch it. But either way, nobody's going to die. Liquid just moving into the jungle, taking this area of the map. But again, LGD will just spill out into the top half of the map. So it's kind of like this line between the two teams is constantly morphing, constantly changing, but it's never really leaning one way or the other. The map still belongs about 50-50 to each team.
Yeah, you can see that on the net worth as well. It's just, we're kind of flatlining. We haven't moved past a 1K advantage for a little while. This is a very, very close game. Almost got the Scotty up on the Lifestealer, so Ame very much the plan in the team fights is just go in, latch onto somebody, and that's kind of it. You can't ever really afford to back down. Hopefully your supporting cast is just going to bomb all of their spells around you and you're going to be absolutely fine.
My god, we haven't had over a 2,000 net worth advantage in this game yet, I don't think.
Yeah,
just looking at the graph here, there's no point in the game where...
Yeah, keeping it close.
Crazy.
This is the kind of Dota that we like to see. Yeah.
Wow. But I mean, you know, as I said on the panel, and also we mentioned with this draft as well, Liquid, with this draft, they could have tried running at LGD, and they did try running at LGD, but LGD were able to answer them in quite a few kind of little plays, and now we're sitting at stalemate in 23 minutes. Has to feel a little bit LGD favored.
I think so. I do favor their lineup going a little bit later. The Bristle is not the kind of raid boss carry that he once was, and I think the Lifestealer has some really nice matchups this game.
Yeah.
And then not to mention the Enigma. You know, we talk about the Disruptor as well going into the later stages. So yeah, I think this is good for LGD.
Yeah, you've kind of got these two disco ball core heroes on the side of Liquid. Hang on, Boxy. Might be caught here. Innocent season. More interest in the wards first, Glimpse after. But the BKB's out from Boxy, so he is just going to let himself live.
Dang. If his early game hadn't been so good, you wouldn't have had that BKB at that point. But Boxy's putting in work, and that is going to keep him alive. LG might be able to go and look for another one. You know, lanes are still not in a terrible position. They can just let the Eidolons do the job at mid. But actually, Liquid... I think they've just hit 2 more BKBs. Yeah, Mickey's got, Matumba Man's got. So this is big timing for them. And they've got the blink on the Beastmaster, just lining everything up at the exact same moment to go run at LGD now.
So do you think that the Lifestealer is strong enough to just walk into the middle of this fight with all the Liquid's gots going on and just hit either the Bristleback or the Leshrac with open wounds and survive through it?
Yeah, I think so. So long as his team is nearby, so that if a roar comes out, they can like punish with an avalanche or blink black hole. I think that's very much the plan for LGD.
Matu. There's some brave positioning from them. BKB going to be popped from Matu straight off the bat. They're looking for the targets. They want to bring down Faith Beyond. No black hole. Does get used, immediately killed off though as they look on the sidelines towards nothing to say as well. BKB and Lee, but the Roar is out onto Lifesteal. He talked about his team, but they are not here. Nobody is home for the side of PSG.LGD, and they will run down Ame. No response available from the PSG.LGD side, so Liquid will be taking this fight.
Dang. They were just not expecting them to be right there. Faith Beyond positioning a little bit compromised. They wanted to move forward, but Lifestealer just too close to the Enigma. Lifestealer needs to be the first point of contact. Instead, they just walk right past him and bop Faith Beyond.
Yeah. The Bristleback hiding in the trees, using guerrilla tactics in this game, but working absolutely beautifully. That's no Monkey King. That's a Bristleback.
And it's going to be quite a lot of punish on the map, especially now that the black hole is on cooldown. Faith Beyond dying like that does mean that they're probably going to have to surrender just a huge chunk of the map to Liquid at this point.
Liquid, though, they're still not willing to push for any objectives right now just because they know that Roshan is in the respawn zone. If they end up messing something up here, feeding away a kill or something, then it could backfire on them massively. So I think that's why they're not committing, right?
Yeah, and a little bit of good luck for LGD in that the Roshan respawn ends up being almost exactly the black hole cooldown. So they're going to be able to get that back up.
Jump in, middle lane. It's going to be the Tiny caught out this time around, as JinQ doesn't have a play out of this one. He's going to end up dying. The poor old Tiny, reduced to dust. As now Liquid come charging up the high ground. They recognize how important this Tiny is to the initiation of PSG.LGD, so happy to just go and threaten him with the black hole still down.
Yeah, teams have gotten really good at this. It's a... Look, LGD, you're not allowed to be out on the map while you don't have your big cooldowns. We are fully in control, and Liquid just setting up for the Roshan pit. They do have a full Daedalus now on Nothing to Say, so if he gets to just stand there and go turret mode, I think part of the plan here is that you can only roar one of them, either the Lifestealer or the Lina, and, well...
Jump in, roar out onto the Lina. Oh my god, Zai. A little bit too quick there. Nothing to say. Even if you did get off the BKB, I'm not convinced you would have been able to get out of that one. That is a big, big loss for PSG.LGD. Just so close to bringing down that tower, but gets baited and, yeah, dies.
Boxy gave up on camping the Roshan. If he just waited an extra 5 seconds, though, that may have been tricky for him as PSG.LGD in the neighborhood. Picked up a gem to try and secure a little bit more control. But with no Lina, this is a very difficult fight.
And it's 40 seconds until they have both the Lina and the Enigma, so they're going to hit really
and it's a double
timing.
damage, of course. All right.
Oh my god.
Well, there was some luck for LGD on the respawn time, but a little bit of luck for Liquid on the double damage. We've got to keep things even this game. You know, it's been very back and forth. Jinq, can you do it again, buddy? I think your team needs you to.
A little bit harder than last time. They have got the vision inside the pit. Jinq running over, going for it. No way, no way, no way. He doesn't get it this time around. Matu gets that Aegis, and Jinq doesn't make it a second time. Oh, so close, though.
If not for the Hawk, I think he would have had a decent shot, but Liquid were kind of able to mess with him a little bit. And Boxy doing a nice job keeping everybody back. And, well, Liquid just going to be able to keep on pressuring. Still have not really seen what this Nothing to Say Lina is able to accomplish in these fights.
Yeah, wasn't able to accomplish a tier 1 tower down at bottom lane, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a sad one. maybe Faith Beyond can sneak over somewhere nearby, pop down some Eidolons, and they can finish that one off. It shouldn't matter too much.
It stands as a testimony to man.
Yeah. That's a tombstone for Nothing to Say. But yeah, okay, the lead is now going to properly accelerate for Liquid. They can just get all of the lanes shoved in, able to play even more split up, not having to worry while Matumba Man has this Aegis. And LGD, it's still keep bending. Hopefully snap back in one all-important team fight, though that might have to wait for this Aegis to fall out of the hands of Matumba Man.
It's time for LGD to sweat, and time for them to be trapped. We talked about the morphing map earlier on, and, well, LGD's map is not very big at all anymore. Now the Aegis is in the hands of Matu, you can see how much this has changed the pacing of this game, and, you know, in a way, that's kind of why we saw Nothing to Say out so far at bottom earlier on. You know, he just wanted to drag heroes down to this bottom side of the map, just buy them enough time to get that black hole back up again, but, yeah, it goes tragically wrong, and now they have an Aegis on the side of Liquid.
And if he had succeeded in drawing like one TP down to bottom and then leaving, and then that had been right around when Roshan respawns, like could have been a completely different dynamic around the pit. Could have been LGD finding their opportunity to start taking control of this game. But it's always the little things, and this is certainly one of those games. Yeah, we do. Okay, we're going to have the Lincolns on the Lina. There's not that many ways to pop it, but it's also not impossible for Zai to deal with it. So we could still see this roar coming through, and that is.
Can he? Yeah, I guess he's got the Helm of the Overlord or the Hawk shard, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So 2 options of possibly popping that Lincoln Sphere, but of course. Easiest said than done.
LGD are smoked, and they're even popping a drum charge just to get out on the map a little faster and see what they can find. They know that somebody's going to come to this top wave. Mika even blinking forward. They're pinging him now.
There might be more heroes than they expect up here.
Yeah. Liquid have a contingency plan.
Oh, it's a drag race. Liquid are actually driving away from PSG.LGD. LGD trying to pick someone off at the back here. It could be a dream entry to the fight. It could be awful as BKB pop from Boxy. No hesitation as he jumps in, grabs the Undyke, smashes him into the ground, but it's Arme on the backlines trying to get on top of Mickey, and they take down the big boy. Faith Beyond is gone, so is Mickey. But Matuma Man looking for some revenge, trying to get on top of Nothing to Say, and does so with ease, and now looks to his next target. That's going to be Innocence. Oh my god, gets smacked into oblivion. Ame moving to the tree line, needs to get away from this one. TP just comes off cooldown. His rage just runs out. Doesn't even matter though, the Primal Roar is there, pulverizes in, and Ame is out. It's a triple kill for Matuma Man and a full 5-man team wipe for the side of Liquid.
Mickey putting his life on the line there, but I think really winning the team fight for his team. He blinks past everybody, finds Faith Beyond in the back, just mows him down, doesn't get to do anything in the fight, and completely paves the way for Matumba Man to make the plays happen.
And this poor Enigma doesn't get a chance to do anything in these fights, you know?
Yeah, he blinked back defensively, and then Mickey just jumped on top of him with a blink dagger of his own.
Even blinking away from the engagements, he's not able to get out. It's just crazy.
And LGD they can't seem to hold their formation at all. The backline's always getting jumped on. Liquid continuing to extend this lead further and further. Nothing to Say had a moment of, we saw what he was capable of there, but it was just bringing down the two supports. And then all of a sudden he had a very big angry bristleback in his face.
Well, at the very least, the Aegis will now time out, but Liquid, they're able to take a lot with that Aegis. No high ground, but a big, big team fight and a lot of the map and all the tier 2s. It's a big bounty. And they're moving under the Hawk right now as well. I wonder if Nothing to Say will clock that. He just killed it off there, but actually, it doesn't really seem to matter to them.
Oh,
I'm a little bit curious about what Xinqiu's aiming to achieve. Is it Boxy? Boxy has a blink though, wow. Just blinks out of the range. He's playing with him right now. Ogre's sealing around. Oh, Glenn's back. All right, no worries.
Liquid making a beeline. They've got vision in this area. They
coming through the back. Oh no, Matu gets on top of Innocence, takes him down with ease, looking for the next target, has to sit inside that kinetic field for a little bit. A charge forwards from Boxy, but it does look like PSG.LGD have evacuated the jungle with ease.
If it's just the +5 that they lose, that's a small price to pay for PSG.LGD for what could have happened there.
Yeah.
I think as soon as they put down that sentry and found that they were sitting right on top of a ward, started sweating. Oh, and Tane, we've seen this one before, trying to get the D-ward on the high ground.
Yeah, he's going to pay the price for that as Leon's coming over. There were two heroes from Liquid that TP'd top to try and catch Nothing to Say, but Nothing to Say is connecting back with his team again. Black Hole's going to come down just onto Boxy. Not quite catching Matu in that one, but they do get the kill on to the Primal Beast. May just kind of deal with these dragons here, but he's going to get rolled up. Mickey in from behind as well. He needs a chance to get off the rage. Xinqiu's going to try and give it to him, and he's going to be able to do exactly that. Turns around and eats up Matuma Man. Ame surviving and thriving through this fight. Mickey is just trying to bring down Xinqiu on the sidelines here. Ame needs to leave. He has got the Infest. Jumps inside Nothing to Say and backs himself out. Meanwhile, back towards the other side of the fight. Innocence has been left behind just a little bit, and Mickey is going to try and run him down. There is help coming, but it's not going to be here very soon. Nothing to Say is also on a Hawk here, so needs to be careful. The whole menagerie of Beastmaster just running at them. Nothing to Say, Lena. They will leave, but honestly, that was a good fight for the side of PSG.LGD. They took out the Bristleback.
Yeah, finally seeing what the Lena is capable of a little bit. Nothing to Say, just going full turret mode. Clicks down the Bristle. Liquid a bit scattered. You can see as this fight starts, they're not really there. The Leshrac and the Beastmaster are still just trying to run their way over from the top side of the map. Just takes them a long time to get there, and they can't seem to deal with the Lena just holding on to this high ground.
Yep, I love Faith Beyond's approach to that fight, A black hole is better than no black hole. Also, black hole at position 4 would kill him off. It's fine. That's all he can contribute to the fight. That is absolutely fine. And he does throw a few spells from the sidelines as well.
Yeah, they finally get to have some structure to the fight.
Nothing to Say is walking up into a very precarious position. How quick can you be on this BKB? The answer is very, as he turns around, just mows down Boxy. Boxy, though, very, very tanky. It's a TP out from the Lena, and no Beastmaster nearby. No, Psy was not quite in the neighborhood.
Finger's not quite fast enough for Mickey. He just picked up that Hex.
Bottom tower has fallen.
That was a Hex he jumped on over. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I guess he had to pop it because there's Lincolns, right? So they had to start with something else, and then had to get a Soul Rip or something off first, and then they could Hex him.
Yeah, the early warning system working as intended.
And nothing to say after that last fight. Also picking up an AC here. It's getting some pretty furious right clicks going. It's actually going to be the Lifestealer who looks to pick up the Silver Edge. And we were a bit worried, you know, as this gets late, the Bristleback starts to fall off a little bit. Same can be true for the Leshrac.
And jump in, throwback down to the low ground onto the Bristleback Innocence. He's not happy with that, but he's going to be okay for the time being. Martu surviving through it as Boxy looking for nothing to say. They've got the Hex out, no BKB due to earlier. Black Hole going to come down though, trying to save him. Nothing to say. Can he turn it around? They need to kill off this Leshrac, and they will do exactly that. Nothing to say. Healing through it all. Oh my god, so low, but just blasting out the damage to heal on through it. They pulverize her into the ground. Die, Lina, die. She will eventually fall, but Arme's going to clean up the kill into Boxy. Arme just tearing through everywhere on that odds. Insane is going to be the next target. They will kill off the Undying 4 dead on the Zai to Liquid. Finally, PSG.LGD find a fight, bash out onto Zai as well. They will get yet another as they bring down Zai. 5 dead on Liquid this time. 1 minute still on Roshan though.
The supporting cast from LGD playing out of their mind. The toss back, the save on the Lina there as he gets jumped in the backlines. Mickey thought he had NTS dead to rights, but patience from Faith Beyond. And feeling like maybe the game has just kind of turned at this point, Domad. Like,
it's insane. Like, I want to watch this back. Where was this lifesteal coming from? Was that just from the Enigma? From the Wraithback Totem? Is that how much damage Nothing Sales pumping up? Look at that.
Yeah, I don't know if there was like an open wounds that had spread to somebody else or something.
You know what? Yeah.
He got a little bit of a heal from the Lifestealer as well, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's not that much damage to get it to spread. For anybody who doesn't know what this is not just the original open wounds. Like, this is a very different open wounds that Lifestealer has as a shard. So every 500 damage, it splits off and goes onto another hero or another unit within 700 range. So it can be a real problem. And they lose. It does a lot of damage. 2% of the target's max health per attack from real heroes. So when you've got that synergizing with the Lina, nothing to say. It's just pew, 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 pew.
We all get a feast on this blessed day.
Yep. Yeah. Very cool.
Very cool, yeah. Well, they'll get the D-Ward once again. That pesky D-Ward, which messed them up earlier on. And let them get that toss down to the low ground. Yeah.
I mean, I think they even had Obs and Sentry there, but it was Innocent smoked up, walking to the hill, pops the ward down.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
It's a double damage bot that nobody's seen, but nothing to say now spots it. I think he had a double damage in that last fight as well. So RNG smiling upon Lina a little bit here.
Well, you know, Bristle did get one in front of the Roche pit earlier, so it's only fair.
All's fair.
Give a couple
Fair's
to
fair.
the Lina. And, you know, gotta have rune control. If you don't have rune control and you don't get a DD, then you can hardly complain about it. Hawk's coming over, but Xingqiu says no. Hits it with his tree. 25 now hit on the Leshrac, though. He's got those Diabolic Edict explosions, so, you know, mostly very, very good for pushing, but not bad in fights either. That damage can start to stack up.
Yeah, it does give them this kind of potential if they win a fight at this point. Could be staring down the barrel of multiple lanes of Rax gone. There's nary a buyback to be seen in this game. I think there's just 3 available currently. A couple of heroes just working on the gold.
Yeah, everyone kind of feeling like there's going to be a bit of a lull in the action, but Roshan is now back up, so it is go time, and PSG.LGD doing the move. Interesting that actually the Edict Explosions are going to synergize somewhat with the Viscous Nasal Goo, right? With the anti-armor from that, so could do more damage than we're used to seeing as Martu just run into everybody. Toss back though, they want to bring him down. Martu getting straight on top of the Lina, but the Lina just out-damages him massively. Down goes the Bristleback. Xingqiu being beaten up by Boxy. He's trying to get the return kill here, but the Black Hole coming out onto 2 as they swing around the back lines here. Lina getting beaten down by Mickey, but Mickey, he getting beaten down by Arme. Both the cores turn on him, tear him apart. You can't fight into that, not without your Bristleback. Another huge tossback coming out from Xingqiu, and there is just nothing you can do about that. Martu just too far on the front lines for his team to follow.
Beautiful tossback from Xingqiu. The damage from the double damage Lina looking absolutely ridiculous. They just can't seem to kill him. Once Matu's down, you know, Mickey tried his best, but he just doesn't have enough to get through both Ame and Nothing to Say, as Faith Beyond is finally starting to find these black holes, getting into the later stages of the game, and now well and truly feeling like LGD have taken control of this game.
Yeah, Bristleback managing to get off 1,900 damage in that fight. That is all. Meanwhile, the Lina, 7,500.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, they just haven't been quite as connected on Liquid in these last couple of team fights. I think the previous ones, it's been all 5 standing strong together, and the last couple of times, Jin-Q yoinking Matu back onto their side of the team fight.
Nothing to Say so low again, but those open wounds just blasting him back up to full HP. And now PSG.LGD, they've taken one lane of barracks, they're gonna take a second. Liquid, they're the buybacks to answer. Oh, and by the way, they've got an Aegis and a Refresher Shard, in case you were wondering, so
yeah,
they are decked out.
Yeah, I don't know what you can really do on Liquid at this point. It's not too much more scaling for the Bristle. He is going to get his level 25 talent, which is a pretty big boost, but not as crazy as it once was. We're not going to be hitting that kind of 1,000 damage Bristleback mark. It's got to be some kind of pick off. You know, find somebody in a side lane. Though I don't know if LGD have any reason to split up for the remainder of this game. They're already 2 lanes of racks up, so they can just ball for the rest of this.
Yeah, they're best friends now. They're going to hold hands and skip around the map together, and Liquid, they'll have a hard time breaking them apart. 3 years together, this team, the bond of friendship is very, very strong.
I don't think you want to play Red Rover against LGD. He's been sending Matu over every single time, and he's not very happy about it, I have to say.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, how else do you approach this fight, though? Because there's no way you can let anybody else go on the front lines here. Like, Matu is the best hero to get thrown into the entire team. No hero.
Yeah, you got to try and find Faith Beyond like they did in a couple of those previous fights, but he's got a Ninja Gear, so yeah, Ninja Gear, Octarine Core, he is permanently not spottable.
Yeah. And in case you're worried about Nothing to Say, he now has an Aegis, the open wounds healing, which is basically a Satanic, then an actual Satanic.
Cool.
And just in case it goes really, really wrong, they've got a Wind Waker on Jin-Q now as well, who is just going to throw back Boxy and then Wind Waker himself down to the low ground. Style points as Jin-Q just flies on out of there. Black hole coming down onto Matu and Ame. Just beeline it, throw. Hole number 2, catching out 3. Absolutely beautiful stuff from Faith Beyond. The buyback is there from the Bristleback. It's not, though, from the Leshrac. Baiting them out with the first hole, jumping through for the second. And that's the big one. Catches 3. PSG.LGD looking to end this game in style. The buybacks are out, and they're going to respect them. They're in no hurry to really push this too hard.
A little bit of a moment of like, oh, you didn't call GG. Okay, I guess we'll have to keep going. Actually, getting the damage onto Ame. They thought the game might be over. Gets the cheese off.
He manages to do it, and now they will gun down Matu. Matu kept alive narrowly by Insania. The Soul Rip doing the work to get the Bristle to safety, but they are trying to hold their high ground right now, and with their Bristleback in the fountain, healing up, hitting the showers. LGD, they're just going to take down the final lane of barracks. Jin-Q looking for a tossback, doesn't really find it here, still has that Wind Waker to work with should he really need it, but he's chilling, he's vibing, no worries. Tombstone easily killed off by Nothing to Say. The machine gun is going strong. Rat-ta-ta-ta-ta. Gotta do something here, Liquid. And another toss back, this time onto the Bristleback as he gets devoured by Nothing to Say. Nothing to Say, looking towards the next target. That's gonna be Boxy. GG called for game number 1. And it will go to PSG.LGD in true LGD style.
What a game. Just some beautiful team fights. Absolutely fantastic execution. We got to see some cool interactions with the open wounds. What more can you ask for, really?
Yeah, wonderful stuff. And you can see the smiles there in the cam. Not only a good game, but a super fun game for them to play as well. The amount of things they had to play around there, the amount of small plays they made, you know, the amount of little outplays which came